The NBA season comes to an end. J.R. Jackson, Ben Mankiewicz, Jason Rubin. The Golden State Warriors win in 6. A series really to remember. Maybe not a playoffs to remember, but a series to remember.
I think so. Why not the playoffs? This is awesome.
Yeah. Before we dive into the NBA Game Finals 6 recap, if I can get my words straight.
We say Game 6 Finals in this country.
Game 6 Finals. Got it. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Start building your website today with a free trial at squarespace.com/TYT. Squarespace, build it beautiful. Onwards.
You job nicer.
Thank you. You thank you. Thank you. So there's a lot to break down with this game. What I took away before I get into the old man's opinions of Ben and JR is that the Warriors simply figured out Cleveland, and Cleveland was simply too gassed to even make any kind of run at this. And what was interesting, every first half was very, very similar to each other in this series. But JR, take it away. What'd you see? What'd you like? What'd you hate?
Again, like you said, they continued with what they figured out. You know, there was the struggles. Matthew Dellavedova started looking like Matthew Dellavedova again. So then it was fine. I mean, and not again, it's not to dog him out. That's why it was such a surprise when he was doing the things he was doing on defense, because no one expected it. So it went back to what was expected of him, another role player that probably had to get thrust into the spotlight and honestly just isn't that big of a player yet. And maybe he'll get there. But it's part of they made their adjustments. I was saying the way to win, suddenly a few games ago, is Golden State going to adjust correctly, quickly enough? Because usually you adjust and you're going to make your adjustments over the season. You have to adjust within a game. And they did that for these last 2 games that they won.
Yeah, we saw Cleveland's supporting cast exposed. You know, if LeBron James gets 45 and 15 and 10 assists, and J.R. Smith makes a bunch of threes, and Dellavedova hits some threes and hits some crazy leaning off-balance lefties off the glass, then what do you know? They can win. But if they did that all year, then they'd never lose. So you can't do that. They didn't have their guys. I think that if Irving and Love had been playing, it's entirely possible Cleveland could have won this series. As good as Golden State is, it would have been a great series. You know, you look at, I think Cleveland won 53 games. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but if they won 53, then they won 53 and 29. They were 19 and 20. So you're really talking about a team that went 34 and 9, and then ran through the playoffs. Well, 34 and 9 is about what the Warriors did. So those teams, I think, if you just look at Cleveland over the last 43 games, was about as good as the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I think with their guys, it would have been an interesting series. I still think the Warriors would have won, but it's a 54-46 proposition. It would have been a great series, and the best player in the world could easily have lifted Cleveland. But asking him to lift Cleveland with this bunch was too much of a task. And then you had this great coaching adjustment that Steve Kerr made to put that small lineup in, and it worked. It was great.
I think a lot of it also goes to Draymond Green got his confidence back, and I think that truly showed when Steph Curry and Draymond Green aren't playing to the level they were playing at during the regular season, which was a pretty absurd level of basketball, an MVP level for one, and a Defensive Player of the Year for the other. Even though Kawhi won it, he was right there in the ranks, Draymond Green. When he disappeared for those first 3 games, we discussed in the Game 5 and Game 4 recaps that I truly felt that a lot of it was nerves, a lot of it was inexperience in the playoffs, and especially the finals. Get a couple games under their in their back pocket, and they coasted in quarters 3 and 4 of games 4, 5, and 6, and they took 3 straight, 2 of which in Cleveland, 1 of which at home. The adjustments were made right. Steve Kerr, as you mentioned, about 20 games into the regular season. Phil Jackson's a smart guy because he really, really wanted Steve Kerr to be the coach of the Knicks, and now he's the NBA Finals champion, coach of the Warriors.
It's a little awkward with Mark Jackson doing the game, wasn't it? I thought it was every time he said something, but I thought he handled it really very classy.
That's what I was going to say, is that for a guy who has all the reason to be so bitter that this is the team that he put together.
Yeah, he said at the end he praised Kerr for taking over a difficult situation. Like, it wasn't that difficult. But like he had to win over, he said he had to win over the locker room. You know, Jackson was well-liked, so Kerr had to come into a veteran team that was poised to win and convince them that he was the right guy, a guy who hadn't coached. And he did it. So it was cool and classy of Mark Jackson. In baseball, a guy gets sent to the minors, usually a young player, and then he'll always work on something in the minors, right? He'll go, oh, my leg kick was too high, or I had LASIK surgery, or hands back. He goes, but I figured it out now. And it's always like, and now I'm going to come back and be different. He worked on something over, and they're never different. It's always like one ace player. He had a less violent leg kick, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's it. No, you're who you are. Like, very few people get substantially better after their first or second year.
Yes.
Like, you are who you are, and stop pretending that this little change. Oh no, if I do this instead of this, I'm going to the All-Star game. You are who you are. And the Cavaliers were who they were. They were the players who were supporting players.
You trying to quote the press conference? The Bears are who we thought they are.
That's right. But you over time, things are, and that's why as a gambler it was so attractive to take the Warriors down 2-1.
Yes. Did you take the Warriors down 2-1?
I did.
Speaking of gambling, by the way, the odds were out for next season's what's it called? Series price. Not series prices. What's the word I'm looking for here? To bet on the team. The futures. Yes. The Cavs are the favorite.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, I mean, I think the Warriors should probably be the favorite, but the Cavs are certainly a favorite.
Vegas likes the Cavs.
They have the best player. They're going to get these two guys back, and they'll, and I imagine that for the guys who there'll be some good players who will take less money to think, you know what, I'll go play in Cleveland. That team can use me. And I'd love to play with LeBron. I'd like to win a title.
The one thing I want to end this really with is for Cleveland next year. A lot of these players, Timothy Mozgov, whose defense truly became outstanding in this finals, really learning how to go straight up with that, and got a lot of calls against him, which shouldn't have been calls.
He got a lot of calls.
Straight up offensively.
He got a lot of calls that he should have got fouls against him that he didn't get whistled on.
That's
so
a good.
It probably evened out from both ways.
But not just him. Tristan Thompson was a monster on the offensive boards, and even players like Dellavedova and Shumpert. They got a lot of experience that you can't really trade up, and that's going to make up a lot of the Cavs' second unit going into next season when they have Verjao, hopefully a healthy Verjao.
I don't think so.
Do you think that makes any difference?
I don't think the experience they got makes any difference. I think they are who they are. Shumpert is clearly a useful player and a good. But and Dellavedova will probably be back, and Cleveland likes him, and they'll keep him. But that guy's you could put it, that guy's replaceable. And maybe somebody's going to get foolish when his time comes to be a free agent and pay him too much money.
Way too much money.
But the key for them is Verjao comes back if they keep Thompson, and then Love and Irving to play with LeBron, and then maybe they do. We'll see if J.R. Smith comes back. He's got an option, and then we see what they do with a couple other free agents. It would be. What's funny is an interesting guy is the Warriors said today they're going to help David Lee find a job. They're not going to ask him to come back into this role. He still showed that he can be a productive player. He's got a $15 million plus due next year, and they're going to help. They're going to do what they can to get him in a place. I'd love to have David Lee, after seeing that, like in a place like Washington, where you needed I felt like a third fairly reliable scorer after Wall and Beal. And then I thought, where David Lee might be good? Cleveland.
No.
I mean, I'm not sure they need another guy who's not thought of as a defensive first guy, but
they need more.
But
bigs.
David Lee with the Cavs in the playoffs, they believe he'd play 35 minutes a game. That team down there, and he would have helped.
Right. Jerry, you like the Cavs next year?
I mean, you can't bet against LeBron now, especially since after seeing this, as we said, whatever kind of reinforcements they get, you still have LeBron.
He's lost 4 of the last 6, 3 of the last 5 finals he's lost. He's a loser, which Jack would say.
He's dragged trash with him to the NBA Finals, and there's a reason we have not. It's one way to put it. The players he has around him are trash, but I'm saving all of this before I get too amped up about it. MVP of the NBA Finals, or as I probably would call it, the Final 6 MVP Performer of the Year award for the MVP NBA Finals. Is that correct?
What?
It's how we introduced the clip.
Final 6 NBA play? What are you talking about?
He's the MVP of the 6th game of the NBA Finals.
JR got it. Maybe it's a younger generation thing.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Tell yourself that.
And thank you to Squarespace, who will be sponsoring TYT Sports in New York next week. If you want to build a professionally designed website, regardless of skill level, go to squarespace.com/TYT to start your free trial today and get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace, build it beautiful. Comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. You can follow Ben on Twitter at BenMank77, at JR Jackson, at JasonRubin91.